So now a TvP, starting off on Solaris. In the bottom left for Psystorm, he is MaxPax. In the top right, we do have a Shopify Rebellion's Byun. What are Terran's rapid fire? Snipes, usually. Usually nothing else, actually. Yeah, that's all I can think of. I don't know Byun's particular setup, though. I don't know. So MaxPax, kind of a... I don't know if favorite's really the right word here. I think they're pretty well matched. But as far as Protoss, probably one of the more favored, that's the word, Protosses that they exist here. Otherwise, Protoss generally struggling to reach it to the finals of a lot of these open cups. Hero does face Dark a lot in the finals of like KSL, for instance, but that can sometimes be because the other Terrans, like Cure or like Byun, get knocked out by like a cheesy Zerg or another Terran or something like that. But definitely one of the also more favored foreigners, non-Koreans, to face off against Byun. And Byun should be very much scared of MaxPax's potential. Now, they are playing on unideal ping, both of them are. Going on MaxPax to come back, honestly. Wait, did he? Oh, he did. Okay, I was like, he was getting a second Marine, but then he canceled it, and then he started it again. So he wanted to fake out MaxPax. So there's actually a couple potential fakes going on here, only which one have worked. So MaxPax could have left without seeing the command center building on the high ground. And then if he checked back and saw no command center here, he could have assumed a factory. And even though it's only one gas, you can factory Cyclones or factory Hellions off of one gas. So that's important that MaxPax went back in and checked and saw the command center, so he knows that it's actually a 1-Rex expand. But then Byun faked a second barracks unit, most likely Marine. Not that MaxPax 100% knew, but it was a fake anyway. So he actually was expediting his reactor. So the factory could be swapped off, although it doesn't look like it will be. So that's kind of cute. Just some cute things, you know. Because if it was like a Marine Reaper opener, which does happen, the factory is a little more delayed, you know, I guess. But at this point, MaxPax is pretty sure of what he is up against. I mean, it could theoretically be a 3 racks, but seeing the command center was very important. Now seeing the wall with the barracks, presumably that was the barracks that was over here. That is an assumption. It's not guaranteed. He will also eventually see factory units or the medevac, but any amount of hesitation as far as defending a potential Hellion drop could be big. You know, if MaxPax is like, I really don't know. Oh my god, this Hellion's my main base. Like, that could be big. I think that's what Byun's going for. Trying to get a little bit of a mind game going, which you don't usually get a lot of, I would say, in this manner as the Terran. A lot of times that Hellion just reveals itself, or it's on the reactor, so you kind of figure the Hellion drop could be possible. Now the Adept sees the Hellions, Byun late to moving them over to the right side. Now just realizing, well, just use them to kill the Adept, and that's fine. But now MaxPax is aware of the Hellion drop, so this comes down to having his units in position and where his units are in general. So are they on the aggression? Maybe recall them back. This Adept actually is going to just further buy time and get another SCV, so I think this is worth it. And then the 4-gate is on the way, because it is MaxPax, and he still does 4-gate a lot, although he's also been 3-gating. So there is that. But no, he's 4-gating, which means that Byun's emphasis on Hellion production has pushed away a potential tank a little bit. Not so much because, you know, generally this opener is 2 Widowmines and a Hellion, or a Hellion and 2 Widowmines, whatever. So it's pretty much the same tank timing as a lot of TvP builds, but just noting, since the tank count is so important. But the Marines have transferred out, the Hellions have transferred in, and MaxPax will absolutely have to keep some Stalkers at home. The Widowmine drops that would usually be here, you can just pull the probes away for the most part, and then have the Stalkers A-move, right? But when it comes to the Hellion defense, MaxPax actually got to pay attention a little bit more back at home. So I think that's the the twists that Byun's going for here. MaxPax gonna start off his 4-gate just with the 4 stalkers. No, it is a 3-gate. Oh, I just miscounted. Okay, so yeah, so he's, like I said, he's actually been 3-gating more. So it is just a 3-gate. And this is, this allows a lot more flexibility in terms of whether you should or would dedicate. So if MaxPax was actually 4-gating, and then he decided, you know what, I'm not gonna do it, that'd be a little awkward. But with a 3-gate, he really could reduce the number of warp-ins, not really warp in at all, and then get the faster 3rd Nexus and go on to his further technology, which is exactly what he's doing. 4 Stalkers for the harassment have gathered more SCV kills than the 3 Hellions did as they dropped into the Stalkers' awaiting arms. They managed to get a couple of lineups, but only 4 probes went down, so far a better game for MaxPax. Tanks are now in position to guard against specifically the Stalker harassment, but ooh, Stalker's on the front line grabbing a medevac, blinking forward then, but fortunately Stim isn't done. In fact, Stim's not even on the way. Byun now pretty desperate. No Stim, no combat shield. Says he just messed up? I mean, feels like he's frustrated. He should be starting up both of those upgrades. He starts up +1 attack, but where's the Stim? I think he maybe he thought he started Stim? Did it get canceled? Like, what happened? When is he getting Stim? Where's Stim? Ah! This is really awkward. The Stalker count's tremendous as well. The blink forward, and that'll be the destruction of both tanks. War Prism comes in to save some of these low-health Stalkers, and Byun's attack is not going to get any damage done. And again, he is not grabbing Stim. He should be grabbing Stim and a second Tech Lab for combat shields at this point in time, and he's not. Well, now he doesn't have the money, but guaranteed, the first time I was yelling at him, he absolutely had the money and the gas. 100%. Oh, now he goes for it. Ew. This is an ugly game for Byun. The economy isn't that great for MaxPax, I guess. Like, up, but now he's up 10. Well, so he was only up by, like, 6 workers. Now he's up by 10. That happened pretty quickly. But I was gonna say, it doesn't really matter because he has so much time. Without Stim, this attack just isn't that scary, especially against the number of Stalkers that MaxPax has built. Against the amount of army MaxPax has built, I guess. Army, Stalkers, whatever. Charge lots could come in here as well. Charge has been done. Guardian Shield could impact this battle, and that's game. Yeah, GG. MaxPax really controlling that. In the top left, up 1, he is MaxPax. And on the bottom right of Oceanborn, it is Byun, who just looked very awkward in that last game. Got to desperation fairly quickly as well. I think his plan didn't really come to fruition as far as getting MaxPax to second-guess himself. Like, MaxPax scouted everything in due time. He scouted the command center, which was kind of big. He could have been convinced that it was a factory expand, even a cyclone opener, now that it can be produced off of 1 gas. Reactored cyclones. Then he might have been... I guess he might have not done it. Well, he wouldn't have done the Adept Harass, maybe, because he would have thought it was Cyclones. Then he wouldn't have seen the Hellions, and the Hellions would have been able to go for the drop immediately, and then he would have had less Stalkers to defend the Hellion drop that did eventually come. Like that, yeah, that's how probably the order of things happen in an ideal world. But then he scouted the command center, and then he actually scouted the Hellions. And then his decision to go for a 3-gate, I do feel like is new and improved for MaxPax. His 4-gate stubbornness started to really hurt him, particularly against Clem, to be fair. It was still working a lot versus other Terrans, and still worked a decent amount versus Clem, but he started going more into 3-gates, and that provides a little extra flexibility of being able to say, like, no, I don't have to really dedicate to this. Especially if the game's getting a little bit weird. The 3-gate can actually, in fact, be used, like, almost entirely defensively. Where you're just like, well, I need more units because he's about to attack me. So... definitely see a world where Byun's opener is a little trickier and catches MaxPax off, and the Hellions get 10 or 12 probes killed, and that's a little bit different. But if that was, again, his plan, MaxPax has, again, scouted the command center. Obviously, a high ground command center could also just purely be for defensive reasoning, because MaxPax is prone to aggressive openers, aggressive adept usage, zealot firsts, proxy gates, but... I feel like that last game especially, it looked very much like a attempt to hide what he was doing. The barracks positioning, the fake Marine, second Marine, the command center waiting when the probe left, then he slapped down was pretty perfect timing, but then the probe came back. Now this looks more just like a, whatever, I'm just defending. I'm just playing defensive. I don't care if you see it. So the Adept Harass doesn't do very much against the wall, obviously. But it does do a little bit of distraction. It can get that last-second scouts on, you know, whether it's a factory or a Cyclone pops its head out or something like that. It is most likely going to be a full-on 1-1-1 at the factory, but it could be a you know, 2-1. Supply depot actually got low enough that the SCVs have to be pulled, so that's damage. That is damage. MaxPax is going to, he's going to go into Dark Shrine. So, the starport's available, but there are less Raven openers now with the Terran patch, the Raven change. So that's I think MaxPax is willing to do the Dark Shrine opener again, which he had kind of just completely taken out of his playbook. And it's going to work here, because Byun's going for a really aggressive opener, so the What Am I drop is, you know, that's par for the course. And that's going to scout the Dark Shrine, actually, which is, oh no, it didn't! Oh, no. Uh-oh. Byun trying to just deny as much mining time as possible. Might inadvertently find an opportunity to go scout that Dark Shrine. Yeah, funnily enough. There you go. First ET is on the way, however. The scan probably would have been available just because Terrans are so good at this level about having a scan available, but that awareness is really important. And in fact, this Warp Prism almost dies, not realizing the Viking would have popped out and then now being used more defensively. It could have been used offensively. I think that was the original plan, was that he was going to go for an attack after the Wood of Mine drop with Marine, Tank, Cyclone, Viking, but then it's just using it to defend. Obviously now using the Starport to build a Raven. That was a pretty important scout there for Byun, who managed to take very little damage to the DT. In fact, really an equal amount of damage done between the parties. MaxPax moved on to Blink as well as a third base. Still has to worry about the aggressive attack of Byun, the Marine, Cyclone, Tank, Viking attack. A couple SCVs pulled as well. This is going to get a little weirder, as Archons are pretty big here. But the Warp Prism is so injured. They've missed the timing of the attack. The third Nexus is going to finish, so it can't be canceled, which if it was canceled, these Archons could just contend the naturals. They could just be content with killing some of the natural SCVs, but now they have to return home, which is gonna, I think, be too late. Shield battery not gonna be impactful for this one. Now the bunkers won't be done, and the Archons can tank quite a few tank shots. Some Stalkers coming on the backside as well. Nexus looking to be saved, however, is already down below 4th health. Now it's down below. Oh, and it's in the red. It's in the red. It's in the red. It could be sniped. Even if Byun gets cleaned up, he could turn around and snipe this Nexus, which might just be the play here. Hello? He could, but he's not. He could, but he's not. He could, but he's not. No, he's not. Why not, though? I don't think dealing the trade for the army was worth it. He could have killed that Nexus. Hello? I guess he was so focused on microing his army and trying to kill these Archons that he didn't realize that the Nexus could have been sniped? That is a big miss, in my opinion. He was going to lose that army somewhat inefficiently anyway, because the Archon was going to live thanks to the Warp Prism being available. So he could have at least sacrificed it to kill the Nexus. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe he's dead anyway, no matter what. And that seems to be the case. Raven trying to help out as much as it can, but with the Warp Prism still up and running, and now nothing to kill it. MaxPax got a playground, and Byun's main base, Immortal on top of the tank, takes that out of the equation. And yeah, this is game over, no matter how you slice it. To be fair, to be fair. Whoop! Almost didn't pick up that Archon. Almost didn't pick up that Immortal. Woohoo! Ah! Byun might hold, but he's lost 26 SCVs, so is it really a hold, you know? Is it? No, it's not. Okay, this is... Woo! Woo! Warp Prism is super low. Imagine if he had killed this Warp Prism with that Viking, by the way. If MaxPax was half a second later to unsieging the Warp Prism and leaving, he loses the Warp Prism. He can't warp in... Well, so he warps in his Archons if he does save the DTs. Wait, no, it's actually even weirder than that, right? So what, he saved a Warp Prism, then he warped in DTs over here, right? Okay, so loses the Warp Prism, warps in DTs back at home, merges them into Archons. All of his army comes in through one angle with the bunkers building and the tanks sieged. The Warp Prism can't get more units on the backside either. And then the Warp Prism can't contribute to the counterattack like this. Like, the Warp Prism actually dying in this game would have made it very winnable for Byun. Just one more Viking shot would have done the trick. One more Marine shot. It went down to 2 health. Oh yeah, Byun's pretty dead. Might just go for an all-in, pull the SCVs, try and win that way. Can't blame the guy for trying. The MaxPax is going to have 4 bases. Shield Battery on the front line, most likely. Charge, Blink. Templar Archive is going to give him another access point to Archons. If he doesn't just win here, Stim and Combat Shields are not done. So just straight Marine DPS, which is a lot of Marines. Tank on the high ground is really helpful too. So MaxPax won't win right there, but he's going to win in general. And like I said, I think Byun's just going to go for a last all-in. It's going to have 1-1 or 0-0. His army supply looks okay now. With the upgrades, this looks winnable for Byun. But MaxPax hasn't really shown the full might of his production quite yet. He's been skipping production rounds in favor of adding on technology and a nexus and buildings and probes, 4 probes at a time. But as soon as he actually wants to warp in, he's going to be on 10 gateways. Good stalker presence on the map too, just killed a medevac. Byun is pulling the SCVs, also Warp Prism, you know, so why not? Storm will not be done. MaxPax does need to start warping in, but if he can buy time for Storm, then that would also be a pretty easy win. 10 seconds of Storm, so he'll have it. And in fact, the mere threat of the High Templars is already pretty good. Oh, nice focus fire, though. Those tanks getting on top of the High Templar, but that one Storm was freaking beautiful. Archon does get deleted. Immortal as well. Overcharge unavailable. Already used. But this is still ultimately not a game that Byun can win. He will drain himself of his power faster than MaxPax will. DT's also being a problem because the Raven died. Got a little closer than I expected. The High Templars getting blasted by the tanks is a big move there, but MaxPax is on 4 bases. Byun is on 2. MaxPax still doubling the worker count of his opponent, so on and so forth. You get the idea. We have a lot of games that are ending with a, you know, last second all-in. More power to him, but Byun's even a triple down. Be like, no, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. I have a lot of belief in Byun's micro potential, but not here. Not when Archons and a Warp Prism are available. Healthy Warp Prism, too, finally. Having forced to rebuild it. Shield Body Overcharge, once again available. Which apparently he does need a Shield Battery. The Archons get popped. Those 1-1 upgrades really doing work on these Marines. I think is also why it's getting so close. But there it is, GG. MaxPax, so the 2-0 moves on. And it seems like only Clem can defeat this guy. As MaxPax is headed towards the finals, Clem was waiting for the winner of Dark and Future. And is now facing... Oh, neither one. It's still going on.